Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. Today I'm going to show you the spine stretch exercise. This is a classical Pilates mat work exercise that was originally included by the 30-something exercises that Pilates himself put together. So I see this exercise used in different ways. I'm always open for different approaches. Of course, I do that myself as well. However, I think that there always has to be a thought behind why we're making certain decisions, why we're changing the breathing patterns, or why we are doing some modifications or variations of something. That's very important to keep in mind. So always study, always have your own practice, always be a student, and then by experience you're going to be able to play with certain things. So today I'm going to show you how I prefer to do it. There's going to be a little bit of a difference in intention, I would say, and I do believe that I'm using a different breathing pattern. I'm not entirely sure, but this is how I find that this exercise is most beneficial. So who can do this exercise? I mean, any Pilates, any postural, any somatics is really for anybody. You just really have to modify it to your body. So this too is an exercise that everyone can do, unless you're experiencing pain, of course. But it's going to be great if you experience benefit in doing the cat-cow, let's say, or doing an arch and curve on your hands and knees. So if that's a really beneficial exercise for you, you now have the added benefit, I guess, of not having to stand on your hands and knees. So if you have any wrist problems with your shoulders, or problems with your hips or your knees, specifically your knees maybe, then you can try this one out and see how it feels to you. Before I show you the exercise, let me just speak a little bit on it, because when I'm doing it, it might be hard to hear me. So when we are curving our spine, rather than rolling down vertebra by vertebra, I want you to think that the top of your head and the base of your tailbone are going to hug around something. They are actually going to reach out and then wrap around a space. Now, obviously, your tailbone is not going to move, or it's actually the top of your head that is going to give the direction, but that is the sensation I would like you to have. And another thing you can think of is if you ever watch like Dragon Ball or some of those Japanese anime stuff, when they would have some scenes where somebody gets punched in slow motion. Now imagine that you're getting slow motion punched in your belly, so you're just hollowing out the center of your body. So rather than rolling down, it's a hollowing. You see how that's different? On your way up, however, you're going to begin at the base of your spine, and you're going to do that little vertebra by vertebra work where you are rolling up vertebra by vertebra. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now we'll come to the mat. The form of this exercise: straight legs, a little bit of room between, well, let's say hip width, maybe a little bit more, and flexing your feet, pulling your shoulder blades together, so no arching, just pulling those shoulder blades into your back, and head, palms flat on the surface. Elbows are kind of into your body, so you're not flaring out your elbows, like so. If this is hard for you, meaning that you're not able to keep a neutral, straight spine in this position, you can consider bending your knees, or you can place something underneath your sit bones that lifts you up and allows you to straighten up. Just make sure that you're not sitting on a pillow. You want it to be something that is hard, so like a block or something like that. So this is the breathing pattern. I want you to inhale up here, exhale as you curve, and remember you're hugging around something. You inhale at the bottom, no motion, and then you exhale again to roll back up. All right, so you exhale when you move, you inhale when you're just still or just extending. Let's give this a try. Inhale here. Exhale, curve. Arms are just gliding along the floor. You don't have to straighten them all the way above your head. You can Stay here. Inhale here. So you're not collapsed here. You're still keeping that curve. And as you exhale, vertebra by vertebra, roll back up. Pull your shoulder blades together. Inhale at the top, so you're growing. As you inhale, exhale through your mouth. Curve around the air, curving around a large ball. And inhale at the bottom without collapsing. Exhale, rolling back up. Two more times. Inhale. Exhale. Draw that navel to the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Alright, good job. I hope this is making sense to you. It's really important for me to explain to you that when you are at the bottom, this is called a spine stretch. It's a spine stretch because any time you curve your spine, you are stretching in between your vertebrae, right? But you're not actually doing, and you're not collapsing over your legs. So even though you're going down, and you have a curved back, you're not letting go. You're still actively pulling the navel to the spine. You're actively curving, and you're not collapsing your head as well. You're keeping that same beautiful line. So as you inhale down here, you're actually just expanding in that form. You're not giving into the floor. I hope this is making sense. And then when you're rolling up, you are pulling that navel. You're just allowing that to keep going through your spine. Alright, so if you have lower back pain, this is a very common mistake, and I don't know why people tend to recommend stretching your lower back. I don't think you should do that. If you have lower back pain, surely the mobility of the lower back is very important. But you're going to do a lot of navel to the spine exercises, and that's actually what's going to relieve that pain for you. You don't want to just stretch out and collapse. It's going to feel like you want to do that because you have all this tension and you want to like twist and stretch and do all this stuff, but you really don't want to do that. You want to keep this part kind of strong and rather stretch it out in the sense that we are curving over, but we are actively engaging that transversus muscle and that deep musculature. We're curving over, so using the muscles to kind of open up and thereby giving some relief, because then you're also strengthening the muscles there so that you can keep that space in your spine that allows you to not just collapse one vertebra on top of the other. Just to bring this full circle, let me show you a cat-cow exercise using the same principle. So that is also an exercise that you can do in many different ways, and it's going to change the impact that it has on your body. But let me just show you. And using the same principle of the middle of the top of your head and the base of your spine, which would be your tailbone. Those are the two extremities. And now visualize that they extend away from each other on your inhale. And on your exhale, it's almost as if someone is slowly punching you, right? So the top of the head is reaching out and then going around something to meet the tail. The tail is reaching out and then curving around something to meet the top of the head. Again. exhale and curve. Inhale, extend. And exhale, top of the head and tailbone. And inhale, extend. Okay, rather than exhale. You see how that is a sequential movement? Like if I were to make a wave, that would be a different thing. And I'm not saying one is not wrong and the other is right, but it's different. So for lower back pain, I highly suggest trying to use that principle. Thank you again for joining me today. Please do leave me a comment down below if this made sense to you, or if you have any questions. Sometimes it's hard for me to provide clarity because I'm speaking to camera rather than having you here with me and then having kind of that dialogue. So I do appreciate it if you give me some feedback, or if you have any questions, I'll answer them shortly. Thank you again, and bless your heart. Ciao.